So you guys, pass around your cookies you want. Let's talk about a few things you guys got going on. We talked about a little bit with Max and some of the things with Cheek and kind of what he had with the VR, but you guys specifically, tell us a little bit about where you come from, what you're doing, and then we'll kind of hit on some stuff that we're working on. We meeting in those hotels early and talking about some stuff, getting those packs ready for the guys, and just kind of some things that we have planned in the future. But go ahead, Andrew, kick us off. And kind of tell us what you're doing, where you're from, how'd you get this gig, and what you plan on doing with it.
Yeah, so I'm a rising senior at the University of Redlands. I play college baseball and I'm a math major. I'm a pitcher, so I've really enjoyed my time with Chad and the rest of the guys. But just like Danielle said, found this internship online, and I wanted to expand my horizons, come all the way out to Kentucky, and be a part of the Florence Yalls. So I got to get to work with Connor and Max every day, and we've formed the nerd squad, and that's what we're out here
It's
doing.
worked really good, right? I mean, I think
fantastic.
You guys bounce off each other really well.
It's a good bond.
It is. I think you guys take those road trips together. You stay in the same room, so you're going to get to know each other well. I'm sure you're going to create relationships, and especially once you get in baseball, and the higher you go and the longer you're in it, the smaller the circle gets. And so for you guys to be able to have a relationship kind of in the same field and heading kind of from different places, and it's going to be cool. You guys, the connections you guys are going to have with each other, it's going to be cool to see like where it goes. That's what the business is all about. It's about the relationships. But Connor, what about yourself? How'd you find this out? How have you liked it so far, and kind of what do you plan on doing with it?
Yeah, so I'm going into my junior year at Fordham University. I am not as athletically gifted as Andrew is. I stopped playing baseball in high school, but at Fordham, I'm the director of analytics for us. So I work a lot with numbers, doing a lot of scouting stuff. Similar to Andrew, I found this job online and said this would be a great opportunity. And so I've loved every minute of it so far. It's been awesome working with these guys, on either side of me, working with our pitchers, our position players, and really getting to know everybody and learning how the coaching side of the game works and how we can implement some of the data that we talk about into our everyday coaching. So it's been really cool.
Nice. Max, we kind of had you on. We got to know a little bit about you. I do want to know how that you kind of lead the group. I want to know how the information gets delegated. Kind of who's in charge of what area and aspect. Because you got to feel for that, and then kind of what you guys have planned for the guys in the future, and just seeing a different scope of how to use the numbers in a coaching and a competitive atmosphere. What do you guys got planned, and what are you working on right now?
Yeah, so it's been really awesome to have them this year. Last year we did a lot, Cheek and I, just kind of by ourselves, and it added up, and we spent a lot of time here that we didn't need to. So having people helping has been really awesome this year, and Andrew and Connor are both great. So a lot of what they do is a lot of more of the player development stuff, so preparing stuff for our pitchers, for the hitters, kind of reports for them to be able to get better. And then I'll take a lot of more of the showing players, kind of putting together packages for major league teams, hoping to get guys signed. So it's kind of a little bit of different focuses, but we're all one of them will always do Cheek's app during the game, and then one of them will be in the dugout, and then I'll always be in the dugout. So it's kind of, we have a good rotation going. Things are running smoothly. I think what's unique about this opportunity is you're going to be around the players. You're always out there during BP, during pitchers meetings, all that sort of stuff, which is definitely not something you'd get in like an affiliated opportunity. So I think just the opportunity to be around as much as they are is really cool. And then I think we've been working a lot on we have video stuff, but we also have the Yacker tech. So just really being able to keep going with that data. Something we hope to continue to do, being able to take that to new places, and then also the VR technology that Cheek is working on. Just being on the road, being in the hotel room with him, it's pretty cool to see, and I think that's kind of what we're looking forward to.
That's awesome. There's a lot of stuff that they got going on. I kind of want to pick on a few things specifically, and I want to get Alex's opinion as far as from the outside in. When you hear all the information that's given and all the things that we have at hand, I kind of want to get your opinion on that. So I have a few questions loaded, but I do want to go back and hit on something that Max said, which I think is important that people do miss is that you guys get to work really closely with the players. And in affiliated baseball, it's not necessarily that way. The people that I know and the situation that I was in, it wasn't that way. It was, you're kind of off to the side. You're the white collar up with the front office, and you dictate information of what you want players to do, but it's not related to there's no relationship with the coach to be able to communicate what needs to be applied. It's just strict numbers and say you got to get this guy doing this. Well, you don't have a relationship with the player to understand his mindset, his values, or what if he's even capable of doing such things, especially in competition. So I like that point, and I like that you guys get an education of knowing players, what is viable information that they can go out and apply in competition that's not going to set them back. It's still going to keep them competitive and help us win a game. I mean, I think that is very, very valuable. It's something that you guys are going to take with you for a long time. And it's not necessarily knowing how to coach a guy, but it's knowing how to talk to him and knowing the information you have and how to slowly cross that bridge to get somebody who can communicate that point across. What are a couple things that you guys have seen in that aspect, being around the players? How has that changed how you look at numbers and really how, not defining a guy by his numbers, but using the numbers to help him identify who he is? Like, how do you guys change your mindset on that, being around the players?
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest things for me. Coming from Fordham, it's very data focused, and it's college guys, so it's a lot of development, but I leave that a little bit more to the coaches, and it's more of me bringing data that I find to them. And at this experience so far, I've really learned how to work with players and really how to talk to guys and how to transfer what I know to help them. The first couple weeks I really just spent trying to get to know guys and develop those relationships to build that trust. Because at the end of the day, if a guy doesn't trust you, he doesn't care what you say, and you may have the best advice in the world, but he's not going to take it because he doesn't trust you. Mm-hmm. So I think that's been really cool, and being able to see more of, like you said, the coaching side of it and how to implement the data in a way tailored to that guy. Because we may have some data that would help him, but he may not be wired to take that
overload
in. Exactly.
And it would mess him up, yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's been really cool, trying to find the balance there and really learning how to talk to guys and bring my knowledge and all of our knowledge that we have to them.
Yeah, and we're just getting started. I mean, we're a third of the way through, a little over. There's stuff we got planned halfway through, as far as really clicking on all cylinders. So it's going to be cool. Now, Andrew, what do you got being around the players out there playing catch every day? There's some things that I tell you to implement with guys because if it comes from you, and making sure that you do something to mirror something else. That way a guy doesn't, kind of match you. I told you a couple times, like, I throw this slow back to him. That way he doesn't try and feel like you're competing to throw it harder than him, type of stuff. But just keeping guys in a different mindset. But what have you got? Kind of along with what Connor said. What about you? What's your experience been like with the players?
It's interesting. Connor and I have very different backgrounds. Coming from such a small school, with the analytics that we do have in such a small place, everybody who uses it is very into the analytics. And now that you come here and you have a roster of 24 guys, not everybody speaks that language. So it's been great to have conversations with these guys and understand how to communicate that analytical language to 24 very different people and very different baseball players. And what you were talking about with kind of being almost another sounding board for you, and we can kind of have these conversations and kind of be another person that could potentially help some of our guys and our pitchers, and it comes from a different place. It doesn't come from our pitching strategist. It comes from one of the analytical guys. But it's been great to be able to play catch, with probably half the guys on our staff at so far through the first 3-4 weeks that I've been here, and I'm going to continue to do that, and hopefully by the end of the year, get to play catch with everyone and hopefully help each and every one of them grow.
I'm going to get you on the bullpen soon. That way you can get ready for school.
That's coming soon.
Start working on some stuff. Max, you're in the dugout. You can see Danielle interviewed you. I'm not sure how that interview went. I still haven't went back. She didn't grade you as the worst. You're in the dugout, though. And guys are down there. We have the Yacker Tech implementing information to players live in competition. Tell me kind of something about, how your mind works as far as what you would want guys to know. With some information that we do have, we've started to give some guys some shifting reports. You guys got some shift for the infielders, outfielders. We always have a game report or game plan for the pitchers, but in dugout, in game, where would you like to see data, and where would you like to see some of the stuff you guys do be implemented better?
I think so. A lot of what we've done is you get the velos for the pitches, so the hitters will look at that and be able to, I guess, get their timing better, know exactly what speed the pitch is coming in at. The radar gun here is obviously not the best, so being able to have that has been, I think, probably the most useful thing so far. I think it's a little tougher for pitchers just because you don't want to, give them a bunch of information in the middle of their start or in the middle of their outing, and so I think that's probably more useful after the game to go back and look at, or maybe talking to you, seeing like things if someone's falling off or anything like that. But I don't know how much is exactly useful in game. Yacker Tech is apparently sending us another tablet with even more information to get, so we'll see how that helps people. Being able to see strike zones, maybe that can help hitters learn tendencies of umpires or even pitchers also. But I don't think there's a ton to do in game. I think you can see certain trends that can, show you things, but that's probably not something you want to tell the guy. But
yeah, exactly. No, I like that application. Alex, looking down, seeing what we have. We have the first independent, analytics team, in baseball. But hearing all the information, knowing all the data, knowing that we have all this stuff, seeing all the stuff we got, we're the only team that's really implementing it in a good way and doing it in the right way. But what questions you got that you want to ask these guys? That way we can kind of see what you would want to know, see what from the outside.
Yeah, well, from a perspective of old school, a lot of the old school baseball people are like, oh, I don't want to turn these guys into robots. Don't want to turn the players into robots. Don't want managers managing with predetermined decisions. How do you guys, when you're giving that information, whether it's to a player or to B. White or Chad, the information so they still have that human instinct? What's that line?
I think really at the end of the day, like, baseball is still, it's about coaching and it's about players, because at the end of the day, they're going to be the guys that have to go out and compete. We can have all the best data in the world, but we talk about it. If you can't go out there and compete and have that pitchability, it doesn't work. So I think it's a lot of, I think we're trying to find that line a little bit too, but it's definitely focused still on managing, on coaching, and on playing. Because the data we have can definitely help, but it's not a cure-all. It's not gonna single-handedly win us ball games, because at the end of the day, like I said, these guys have to go and compete.
And I would kind of talk about this a couple episodes ago, but how do you feel? You guys implemented this, started this year, even into last year, and it's gone really well. And other teams have started to pick up on that and tried to replicate that. Is that a pride thing for you guys? You're like, oh, people are trying to, we're doing it well, so other people want to do it, or is it kind of like, hey, we did this first?
I think it's a big compliment, to what we're doing. People are taking notice of not just what we're doing, but what's happening on the field and how the team's doing, and they're trying to replicate it. So yeah, it's a good thing, but we got a better thing going on here.
How do you think that has helped? Obviously, we've had 2 pitchers picked up already. How has that, the information that you mentioned, you're sending to major league teams and scouts, helped in that process, and even some further on the line that we might not know about already?
I think every team's going to be different, but I think teams want to see the basic stuff, the spin rates, the velos, and really have confirmation that just some radar gun behind home plate isn't right or something like that. So they want that confirmation. I don't know exactly how much data I think they really look at and find useful, especially at this level. But I think being able to, confirm certain, things they're thinking, like this guy's spinning it well or not, I think that's helpful for teams. And, the Brewers wanted information on Christian Tripp when he got picked up. So I think being able to look at that helped them confirm what they thought. really match up with what they were thinking. But I mean, I think moving forward, it'll be interesting to see, especially from the hitter side, which isn't something we know too much yet, exactly what they're looking for. So we'll see moving forward how we can best put that together for teams.
Now, Chad, as a strategist on the pitching side of things, you're a guy that thinks about mindset a lot and actually, going out and doing it, not just the numbers behind it. How do you find the balancing act of giving your pitchers the information that they need, but when they go out there, they're focusing on their stuff and what they do best?
Oh, I just tell the number guys to F off, man. That's it. No, we do know what the numbers bring. I like the information that we get. I'm never, like I said, I'm never against it. I'm not against it. I'm against it being a priority. I'll continue to say that it's not a priority, and it shouldn't be. If it's a priority when you go out in competition, you're not focused on getting out. You're focused on throwing the perfect pitch, and the perfect pitch is not competitive. So it's all about how to compete and using the information to be able to help guys' deliveries. We talked about some deliveries. We moved some guys over on the rubber. Talked about how to keep a guy in his backside. In a better setup. That way, keep his weight loaded. It's going to help him have more spin efficiency. There's ways that we can define certain things of how to get that verbiage and those definitions of certain things. We can do that by coaching them in a way, and it's typically through delivery or rhythm or timing. And, those things will help them unlock some of the numbers that they're trying to search for. But if they're searching for numbers and they're using too much effort and they're getting out of position and they're trying to muscle through, they're never going to see what they want to see consistently. So we can show those to certain guys that do like the numbers that we're working on delivery with and say, hey, you want the numbers that you hit on sporadically and flash. Well, you can do that consistently if you stay in your delivery and do what we're talking about right here. Don't get wrapped up in the game or the emotion and trying to push and get mad and do this. No, you want these numbers, right? Well, then you got to stay calm. You got to stay relaxed. You got to stay in your delivery. You got to stay in your setup, and you got to drive the ball. That's going to get you your best numbers, and it's going to allow you to be consistent with your command and throw the best competitive pitch. So that stuff will make the numbers go. The numbers are good for guys because it is a language this generation speaks, and it's something they know coming into it. I think they speak it too well, and they don't speak the competitive nature and the situation of baseball. They don't know baseball. They don't know baseball. If you don't know baseball, you don't know the situation and what the game dictates to do right now because you've been so worried on spin and ride and throwing the ball up and doing this, and you don't know what you're doing out there in the game. It's just it's terrible, man. This was some of those big league games that got so out of hand, and some of those lopsided scores because they're bringing up pitchers rushing them through that don't know the game, but they have good stuff. They don't know how to pitch, and they're out there and they walk the house, get barreled, and it's just all this stuff that turns into get back to know the game and compete. Compete to get the guy out. That's it. That's the game right there. And know the situation and know what you got to do and execute. So the numbers help us see who is executing, who's getting off of what they're trying to do. But it's more for I have to have these guys. Pitching strategies, man. That's how I watch it. It is what it is. But I can use that to be able to. I get to delegate information and have these guys communicate things to certain guys that I don't speak that language, man. I'm not going to get a translator in Spanish. I'm not going to go translate some guy in Spanish if it's broken. Like, I don't know. I can tell you go to the bathroom, water, and it's just going to be stupid. But I can send these guys, or I can send somebody who's going to translate the message clearly in the way that I want to them and speak their language, and it's like, cool. And it's like mesh those two worlds together. So it's been really awesome for me to have this, but to have these guys see what it is like on the field. They're out there every single day. They get to see what it is day in and day out, the grind of how hard it is to implement a change in one day to a guy that that you're like, he's just got to do this. I'm like, okay, well, come out here and see how hard it is. It's his throwing program. His throwing program's terrible. That takes 2 weeks to fix. And if he doesn't fix that, he can't ever fix it on the mound. So it's a grind. We want him to get him to a certain point, but we got to take that in slow steps. And it's like you guys get to see that. You get to see how it grows and the progression. And then, in the long run, they're starting to do things that we wanted to do on the numbers side, but they had to fix it organically through, good habits and then what they do on their actions. So it's very cool. I like what these guys are doing. There's some more stuff. We're going to bring them back on. I want to have a quick rundown this week here in a second and grab Harry on here and bring Dave back up. He's still feeling bummed out about his date that went sideways. But no, you guys are doing great work. I really appreciate you guys being here. I'm glad that you guys do gel and mix well. You can bounce ideas off each other and be creative and innovative. We got some really cool stuff coming. We're not going to let that out yet. But like I said, we're a third of the way through. There's a lot more to go. There's a lot more to come. And we're just now refining the process of what we actually want to do with certain guys. So I'm excited about it. I thank you guys for your work. I really appreciate it, and thank you guys being on. But you guys got to get out of here because it's our day off, man. We got to get those packs ready to hand out those guys, too, in a little bit, right? Well, let's get Harry on. Let's get Dave. Thank the nerds for coming.
Thank you.
Clap them off, Marissa. Let's go. Woo! All right, so a little rundown of the week. The week ended up being good. We ended up on a sweep. So I do want to talk about the early ones, man. They had that 1-0 game against Evansville. It was rainy. It was nasty conditions. We got rained out that second day. But I liked our chances on the doubleheader that following day. It was still gross out there. Outfield was mushy. It was nasty. We were ready to go, and they kind of took those from us. But we picked it back up and kind of rolled over Joliet. So I want to talk about the road trip, how we end up on a good note. I think we're rolling. We got some new faces in the team. We'll talk about those guys that came in on the road. Some good pitching performances and some guys that's staying hot with the stick all series. But we got Harry to my left.
What's up? Clap, clap, clap.
There's Zing clap.
Thanks, nerds. Thanks, nerds.
Woo! We'll get your opinion on some stuff on the road trip. First full week on the road. Talk about your time being here. I know you did your little doc thing. It was pretty cool.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
But you got some things working on too. Working on approach and talking, working through some things with your swing and all this stuff consistently. A consummate pro. So I want to talk about your growth mentally over the past couple of years and kind of where you
100%.
come. But Dave, I want you to lead us off. Tell us about the Evansville series a little bit. And some of those, that first game was money. It was 1-0, hot and shoved. It kind of set the tone for him to win the pitcher of the week. But tell me about your first road trip, first full week road trip. He rooms with Drew. Drew's not here. He's working out. And I think he ate too much fried chicken on the road trip, too. You might have lost an ab. He wants to get that thing back. Drew's shredded. He's shredded, by the way. He's a monster. You're on the horn, Dave. Yeah, you go ahead, man.
It was good. It was good. It was fun. I thought it was fun. Kind of like really be around everybody the whole time because I feel like sometimes we're home, guys come in and out, and not everybody's together all the time. But it was cool to be around and see different parts of the country too, like being in Joliet. Obviously, not
Cool stadium there.
fantastic stadium. Not a great area, but it was I really liked the
Wait,
stadium.
which one are you talking about? Joliet or Evansville?
Joliet.
Joliet's sick, too. Yeah,
Yeah.
the area around is
little
The hotel was
Stadium's sick, though. Stadium's like...
Stadium
was nice.
sick.
Stadium was nice.
Well, that's how Evansville too. That stadium and the vibe,
It's a good
the
vibe.
field conditions. It's separate.
I was
Well, the
surprised by how
culture.
many people were there too in Evansville. Like in the week games, like it was impressive.
Thursday, or was it Thursday, right?
Thursday.
Thursday got
Doubleheader.
crowded a little bit.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
a doubleheader.
And Joliet was packed every night. Friday crowd was
Fireworks all week
Money.
for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
into it. But yeah, go through that series. So it was 1-2 in the Evansville series. We ended up sweeping that Joliet, so
Yeah.
we ended up 4-2 on the week. But the Evansville series, talk about the vibe on that doubleheader day because it was down. It was down. It is what it is. And it's over now because we went over that hump, especially when we got on Joliet and turned it around. But talk about that vibe a little bit. I'll talk about Edgar's start and kind of what happened and turned into that. I'm sure you want to ask the questions because and I would like to hear those. But Dave.
Part of it was we came out and dominated the first night on the Tuesday, but then it got rained out on the Wednesday, and we came out on Thursday, and the field was still mush. We went out and hit BP in puddles, out in the cages, and Lytle went out in the left field, and he was standing next to a puddle, and same with Tenny and Wright. So the energy wasn't there. We're like, it's wet, it's rainy, it just wasn't good energy around town at all. And we had a lot of new faces in town, not a lot of guys we knew. So just kind of getting acquainted a little bit with some of the new guys.
Yep.
And then we moved into Joliet, and we got some new faces, but guys that we knew. We knew
100%.
Axel. I've heard his name
Axel.
I'm
gonna make her have that walk out.
and Johnny Knight, who
Johnny
was here
Knight.
last year.
Johnny, good night.
So it was nice to get the bats rolling a little bit. Especially last night. Harry. Wait, how many ABs or how many plate prints you have?
Seven.
7, 8.
I had 6. 4 guys out of me had 7. I think I had 6 or 7.
It's a good day
I
at
mean,
the office with 7
yeah.
plate appearances.
If you're flirting with 6 or 7 ABs,
You hurt
went
some
around the
feelings,
bases
man.
a couple times. Yeah.
Some pictures.
It was good to gain the momentum after we were down a little bit earlier in the
Yep.
week. And I think it'll really set the tone for us this week moving forward.
Yeah. Good, Dave. Very nice. You're on point.
It's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
You ain't got no drip. No drip, Dave.
No trip, dude.
Stop foaming over there. Come on.
Alex, you're just watching, you're listening. What do you got? Hit us with some questions you got that way and kind of bring us a recall. I didn't have any notes. I just got Dave's stupid notes.
Handwriting's beautiful, by
from
the way.
his
Spelling's awesome too.
yeah, probably.
Probably.
But questions you got?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of mentioned Edgar's start a little bit. Another one of those. I think I brought it up last episode as well. Got through the first 2 innings, looked great. Next 2 looked great, and then that 4th or 5th inning, gave up the home run, got 2 guys out, and started walking guys. It seems like he does really well early, and then he kind of gets a little comfortable. What changes on the mound from your point of view?
It wasn't a comfortability thing with that one. Edgar's our guy. You know, he's our guy, and he's the dude. He's the dude I expect to ride and to go deep and to take us deep and to be able to. I want him to get out of here. There's a couple things that he's got to clean up. It was a mentality issue, and it was the field conditions a little bit. They were sloppy, they were soft, some outfield slips, and some balls fell, and some runners moved on early in the game.
Yeah.
And because he got out of a big base loaded jam in the second inning, he punched out the side in that inning. He kind of bowed his chest, and he started taking things in his own hands. And he's good enough, and the good pitchers can do that for a short amount of time, but they let it go, and they get back on track, and they pitch. He kind of tried taking his own hands in the end of the second, which he did, and started going punch-out, So the stuff that he was showing, the sharpness to his pitches was really good. But by the fifth, he was gassed. It wasn't really a physical thing. His fastball was still there, but it was the mentality of trying to do too much.
Oh, well.
It just
wipe
sucked
out
the
a
energy
load,
out.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't punch him out without
No.
2 strikes, but he was trying to punch everybody out. There were 2 calls. There was a situation. And look, he walked 4 in a row.
Yep.
He walked 4 in a row and hit a guy. I'm never going to make excuses for him, and I'm always going to be of the mindset of pitch, don't pitch. Always. Yeah, you're never going to hear me yelling at the umpire unless it's completely blatant that we need a little help there. There was 2 calls that I thought were blatant that he could have got a little help with. I thought he struck Magnamy out. I really did. On the would have entered the inning. I know that Dakota Phillips went all the way around. I know he went all the way around
100%.
on the swing. We asked the umpire behind second base, didn't call it. Kept going, walked him, then he hit the next guy. But he was out of gas as far as his pitches. The quality of his pitches was gone. So he was trying to muscle through, pushing his delivery, and it wasn't really anything that I can't say it's uncharacteristic of Edgar, but it was something that he didn't recognize until after it was over. He's like, I can't pitch mad. I'm like, yes. I said, you can throw pissed off pitches. I was like, but that doesn't mean they got to be tight and upset and anger. I was like, you can still throw pissed off, but loose and under control with a little bit of focus here. And so I think he gassed himself out physically, and the quality wasn't there. He missed a couple, didn't get a few calls, and it turned into what it turned into. But up until that point, man, they didn't have any hard contact off of him. No. It was that leadoff homer by Gordon.
Yep.
He threw him too many fastballs. He threw him 11 fastballs in a row as far as up to that game, and he was beating him. But he fell behind 2-0 and then grooved him one because he thought he'd get away with it and get back in the count. He caught him, and he did. He collected 2 little pop-ups after that, and then the walk kind of issues started. But we will. What else you got?
If from a player's perspective, you mentioned the field conditions. This was your first time in the regular season playing on a natural surface, on turf.
Yeah.
How does that change? Number one, just going from turf to a natural surface, but then tossing the weather. Dealt with some weather here, but it hasn't affected the field conditions at all.
Huge difference really from natural field to turf. Just with kind of how the ball hops off the ground. Like on turf, it kind of goes a little higher, so you'll see a lot of players like when they funnel, like it comes up a little bit because you got to play the ball.
Yeah.
Now when you go natural field, that ball's going to stay lower to the ground, and we were talking about it in BP. That's why we tried to get out there early, take a lot more ground balls than usual, and like you'll see balls like popping off the end or popping off our hand because we're not staying through it so much, and we just need to see it real quick. And then just adapt, hey, stay in your base and just work through it a little more. And I think we did a good job of that. And then we got to get the field before it got really bad. So then it rained for that whole day. And we came back. The infield wasn't terrible. And I think it actually helped slow it down a little more and keep it a little more true in the infield. But you can't really think about the weather conditions. When you got 2 sevens, it's more just catch the ball first. And then if you throw it good after that, okay, good job. Let's go to work. But you got to catch it first.
And how long does it usually take for you to go out while fielding ground balls? You mentioned early during BP to finally get used to that, and then knowing 2 games later you're back on turf.
Well, it should be kind of quick. Like you still get your work in on turf. Like you're working your hands, you're doing your same drills. It's just actually feeling the real dirt, seeing what the ball does in the grass. And like we said, like it's not really an even field. So even though we are on real like grass and dirt, the main thing I can say is put your chest in front of it, because sometimes you really don't know where this ball's hopping. So I don't think it took a long time for us to adjust, and I think there's going to continue to be some errors over there just because of how the field plays, and you just got to play for it. You got to play with it. 5 extra pitches for a pitcher, maybe. Hopefully.
Hey, we got about 5 minutes, Jake. You gonna cut us off from there? The lights are going out. 5 minutes. All right. I do want to get to Harry. That way, I'll have you ask Harry some questions, and I'll interject like I always do. But Dave, I want to give you something before I just completely tune you out. I'm not gonna do that. But what do you got, Dave? On that Joliet series before Alex, no, you grill him.
All right.
You got him.
Anything you want me to
Yeah,
touch on?
ask Dave the next question that you were
Okay.
gonna ask me. How about that?
Next question I was going to ask you.
For the
All right.
Joliet series.
From Joliet series.
Forget about
all
a
right.
pitcher.
About a pitcher? Okay. So Joliet series, obviously you're going in after
That one?
losing 2 in a row to
Right.
Evansville.
Right.
Now you're 4 back in the series.
Yep.
You have Hahn on Sunday who just shoved
Yep.
to start the series against Evansville. You know it's a team that you can sweep if you play your best baseball. How do you make sure the tone is set on that Friday night to make sure you can win Saturday, and then you have that stopper on Sunday?
Yeah, I think the first thing Harry will speak for too is that you can't really go in with the mentality that you're going to go in and roll 'em the whole series. You got to go day by day, and you can't think about, oh man, I had a golden sombrero yesterday. No, it's a new day. You have new pitchers, you got new arms, you got new everything. So you have to go day by day. And I really think the travel day kind of helped everybody kind of cleanse it out. Just 'cause they got a bunch of extra time to kind of, okay, new stadium, new feel, new team.
100%.
All right, now we're ready to go. Kind of a clean slate, if you will. I think that was probably the biggest thing.
Felt like that.
And I think the stadium, everyone got kind of riled up about it.
Yeah, so
It was
the
good vibes
atmosphere,
in the stadium.
probably is that
Yeah.
would you say the biggest atmosphere and attendance that you've played?
I mean, there was
in this
electricity
year?
in the crowd. They were
Yeah.
in it. I mean,
The crowd was in it.
How did that help on that Friday night?
I mean, they're against us. But
Right,
you just
right.
love being out there.
Yeah.
Like, you want it to be loud.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't matter if it's for you or against you. You want to be in the moment. Like, this is why we're out here to play.
You want to be loud, and then you want to make them quiet.
Yeah, I
That's
hushed
the
them one time.
best.
We did a turn 2 in the middle, and they thought they were about to score 2 runs. We did a little double play. I was like, hey, calm down. We're still up like 6 runs right now. Calm down. I'm about to score. No, it was funny.
Nice to change that energy. I know Harry's got a question for Dave. But I'll hit on that first game too on Friday. We had Vance going, and we had some long guys ready. I had Tripp. We stretched him out for 3. The plan was to kind of get him a little bit of length, and I had Tripp, Wags, McDonald ready for that one specifically, and I had Doherty if I needed him. And Vance, it was just in case Vance, wasn't able to get through 3 or 4. He went through 5. Gave up. I think he gave it 1 through 5. And he had a really good start. It was like 65 pitches. He stayed down. He mixed the match well, and he took us deep, so I didn't have to use certain guys, and that kind of set the tone too.
That helped a lot. That helped a lot.
yeah.
Well, I was already thinking that a second when I was watching him throw. I'm like, if he gets to the 5th,
He gets to the
We're
5th, we
golden.
don't have to use guys, and then every guy we brought out, they're just looking at our guys like, oh my god, like, really?
you're bringing this guy in for this situation? That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Well, last night we brought in Hughes, Craigie, Doherty to finish a game that was 15-1.
They just went from 68-mile-an-hour changeups to 86-mile-an-hour sliders.
Yeah, wear it. Dudes
Yeah,
are nasty.
you did kind of answer my question though. It is one day. Like I was gonna kind of bring up the one day at a time. We can't think about a sweep, man. Like we got to figure out how we're gonna win this 9 innings. Because their team they had to throw 5 guys the first game, so they're just trying to figure out how to survive this game going into the next one. So it's literally 24 hours at a time. We can't.
Yep.
It's too much to think about 48 hours. I can't do that.
Gotta do what
Cannot
you got to
do
go
that.
with. I do want to talk about now. We've got about 2-3 minutes, but I want to let you end it on kind of your approach as far as I'll let Alex ask you something too.
Yep.
But as far as your approach and how it's changed, baseball-wise, mentality from being in affiliated ball with the Marlins, being in the situation you were in, bouncing in the corners and bouncing up and down levels and filling in because you can hit. But how has your mentality changed coming in playing second base solely, selling out to that, you and Louis working up the middle, but the approach to the daily grind, how has that molded? Where did it come from? And how are you continuing to sharpen that?
I like when defense and hitting's brought up. I really think they're 2 separate categories. Like maybe my defense helps my hitting because I'm locked in for defense, but even when I'm DHing, like I'm locked in for hitting and I'm locked in with the game when we're on defense. So I don't really think that plays a crazy toll on my approach for hitting. But hitting specifically, past couple of years, I think I've grown more to, like when people say they blank out at the plate, I don't think they blank out at the plate. They're lying. Like you don't have no thoughts at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
You might forget it right after you hit because now your adrenaline's going like I got to run. You're like, I don't even know what I was thinking. Maybe that. But I think I'm more to the point of when I'm on deck trying to have a certain feel, like if it's my hands today or my feet on the ground, the second they call my name to walk up to the at-bat, it's all right. If my approach is fastball outside today, that's it. The swing's there. Because if it's not there, it doesn't matter. My approach should be able to fix my swing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I'm late on a fastball with that approach, I'm going to change the fastball location or I'm going to change my feet in the box, pitch by pitch, because I can't think about the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm not feeling that good, in the cages. Like, I'll be honest. But I don't feel bad.
You left the road trip. How many knocks did you leave with not feeling good?
Yeah, it's 6 or 7 on a
Yeah,
full road week. Actually, maybe more than that.
More
I
than
don't know.
that.
Yeah, I think it was more than that. But is it like my approach is what is going to keep me consistent even when I feel like I don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can have your worst day in the bullpen and go CG.
But know that I just got to mix and match a little bit.
You're
I don't
just
have my
going
best
with the
stuff,
flow.
but yeah, just pitch the way I need to pitch.
So I think that's probably been, I'd say, the past 2.5, 3 years, the biggest jump. And like knowing to trust the feels you're trying to find.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't just throw everything, in the freaking closet. Like, if you got a couple drills that make you feel this feeling and you don't feel it a couple days, hey, you need to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe throw in another drill, but that's usually what gets you feeling, back to your A swing. So I've just become, I don't know, like a really repetitive robot, to be honest, in my process before the game.
But
So-
the approach is what adapts and what
Oh,
you
yeah.
use, but it doesn't change the way that you swing a bat.
No, and it's pitch by pitch. Like, I think somebody asked me, like, why do I slap my leg after I take a pitch? It's not because I want that leg to do something. It's almost like a mental reset. I think I took that pitch terrible. I think I jumped at the pitcher. I think I didn't have both feet down, so it's like, hey,
Your
trying.
cue,
Yeah.
reset.
trying way too hard right now, dude. Get back in there, approach. All right, now and the pitcher might not even know what you're doing, dude. He's like, why did he just slap his leg? Yeah, like, I thought I got him biting right there. And like, I don't know. Maybe I was auto-taking because of what I felt while my foot was in the air, and he has no idea.
Yeah, I got one more question for you, then I want to let these guys finish up. Dave, you better think of something good. How does this team, I'm talking about the team in general, the chemistry, the vibe, how is this team compared to teams that you've played on in the past as far as the way they go about playing a high level of baseball and being locked in from the first to the ninth?
I've been on a couple very competitive teams, like with a whole roster of depth that when you line up to every other team, hey, like we can go to war and probably win every series, every time. And I'd say this is one of those teams. You put us and Evansville next together, I think we're two of the best teams in the whole league.
Yeah,
Like hands down, and I think that's a playoff series every time. I think they know it. I think we know it. I think that's going to be fun for the rest of the year. But I think we have the edge. Like it's my team. Obviously, I'm going to say that. But I think this group of guys is still learning every day to play with that mentality. I don't know if we've had. I don't know how many people we have. 30 people, 25 people. I don't know if 25 of these guys understand how good we are as a unit.
No.
Maybe not, like, we're really good per individual, but as a unit, like, and learning how to play like that confidence, like, having that understanding. If I'm not having my best day, like, if I have 70 of 100 today, I got to give 70. I don't need you to give 10 more than what you got. Because I got this guy next to me that's balling out today.
Hey, he's going to pick us up.
I got this guy coming out of the pen, but on 97 by accident. Going to go ball out today. Like, I just need to keep giving me. So I think we're getting better every series because we don't need to be the best right now. We have 60 more games, and I think, like this road trip that just happened, how we ended it, I think that helped the group a lot. And I think we're starting to flow a little bit. And you can tell the camaraderie.
I agree. The pitchers are just now getting in the point where they are able to understand who they are. Hahn got that pitcher of the week because he finally understood who he was and how to pitch off and use his stuff. Everybody in the pen is just now figuring out it's not roles. It's being able to know, like you said, I'm picking each other up, and we're reloading bullets every inning. We're putting the best dude because you guys are all nasty. We're going to put you in the inning in a situation that's going to make you successful. Just go out there and execute. And then, boom, it's the next guy's turn. Boom, it's the next guy's turn. And before you know it, the game's over, we win. So I like that. But I want to end it right here. I know we got a couple of minutes left. Dave, you got a good question? Because Alex is probably going to be better, so I'll let him finish. But do you have something good to ask Harry?
I got a question for Harry. What's it like leading a group of guys that's constantly changing? Like over the last 2 weeks, we've had a bunch of guys go on the injured list, some new signings, releases. How does that affect how you lead, if at all? Because I know from the coaching standpoint, it's a little different because we're still trying to figure out what guys do well and what positions we can put them in to be the most successful and help the team win.
Suck it, Alex. That's going to be better than yours.
Well, I gotta say first, like, there's not one alpha to 25 men. Like, I'm not the only leader. I'm blessed to have many leaders in this locker room. I got pitchers that are taking care of pitchers. Like, I'm not in the bullpen every day, you know. Like, I gotta make sure there's people taking care of other people. Not everybody wants to come to me. Not everybody might hold me to that standard of being that great leader for them. But I'd say a majority of the people do. And getting the new faces in, it's just we got to make sure we're living right as the group that was already here. So when this person comes in and they see how we're doing it, we're not even going to treat it any differently. Like, they should see the law of attraction. This is how we do it every day, no matter what, even when we feel terrible. Just had a 10-hour road. So they're going to start
jumping in that flow where you
like
ain't.
they have to.
Yep.
They have to hop on. And if they don't hop on, they literally look like an outcast. But I feel like that's never going to happen.
Right.
We have a good group of guys, how we work every day, the type of baseball we want to play. It's really fun when you win.
Right.
So I think they're starting, the new guys especially, they came in hot. They just hopped right in. BP looked good, and they were not afraid to swing them, and that's huge. Patient but
We were
aggressive.
talking. It looked like you were talking with a bunch of guys. I know, you talked with Axel a little bit when he was in Gateway, and you knew Johnny last year. But it seemed like they were talking with guys and getting along well with guys that they maybe didn't already know, which I thought was interesting to see.
100%. Yeah, we got a pretty open group of guys. We made it easy welcome, and I mean, if you're going to be on our team, we're trying to welcome you because we're trying to, go a long way. We're not trying to just stop after the last game of the season. We want playoffs. So, gotta kind of get to know him.
All right, since he dominated with a good question on the wave the white flag, and go to a little something less serious here. I think you have your walk-up song is my favorite. Why is your walk-up song the best on the team?
Again, opinionated. I'm a huge Foxy Brown fan. Oh yeah, if y'all didn't know that, my song Foxy Brown. Oh yeah. I heard it. I was watching a movie. I was like, I gotta figure out what this song is. Played it on Spotify, and I was like, I think this is
a
my
vibe.
walkout.
It is a vibe.
Well, because maybe one day when this thing gets sold out, they just start screaming, "Oh!" When it's like, "Oh!" Like I'm gonna be, "Oh wow!" That's kind of that's why I did this. But it's I'm happy everybody likes it. It's a fan favorite. I'm just trying to do it for the fans, get everybody locked in, just for a little part of the game.
You got us dancing up there in the press box. I will tell you that.
I'd be
It's good.
dancing in between
good.
innings, man. I danced right before ground ball last night.
Yeah.
I was dancing,
Warming up.
jumped into my preset, ground ball, first pitch of the inning. I was like, oh god.
Keep you loose though.
Oh yeah, I mean it was routine though, so I was not worried at all. But I was like, I knew that was gonna happen. I was really thinking, I think I'm butchering this a little too close to getting ready. I think I'm getting a ground ball.
Keeps
And
you in
then
your
it
athletic
happened.
stance though. Keeps you athletic.
Oh, I was light.
Ready to
It's like,
roll.
oh yeah, fruition. I spoke that to fruition.
That's what we do it.
That's it.
Believe it.
Got
Gotta
to.
believe it. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back next week. Enjoy the rest of the day. I guess we'll see you later.
Bye. Game report over.
Later.
Good job, guys.